Welcome to the Hannahcast. This is your one-stop shop for movie news, movie reviews, and memes. And speaking of memes, we have one right here. It's our buddy Raphael.
Hello there. That me.
Yeah, man. Oof. But but we have a few topics to talk about today. We're gonna be talking about some reviews for Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and Star Wars: A New Hope, and getting ready for Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and also a review of the 2016 Jungle Book. Really, because okay. To be honest here, people, I still have a little bit of a little catalog of reviews that I've missed over, the course of me trying to get some new internet and whatnot. But first, we're going to be talking about something that I really did not want to have to bring up, Raphael, but it's really, it's really become unbearable at this point.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, man. I have a feeling that I know where you're going with this because I was also there for that fiasco. But yeah, I'll let you start on this one.
Yeah, as you guys know, my most anticipated film of 2019 was The Lion King, even more than Avengers Endgame, because this was a remake of one of my favorite movies of all time. Jon Favreau is directing this movie, which he directed The Jungle Book, and I thought, and we're going to get into that here in a little bit, but I thought The Jungle Book was fantastic. The visual effects were going to be groundbreaking. I mean, because, this new Lion King is, without question, an animated movie. It just looks live action. Like, this was breaking new ground. The cast looks spectacular, and when I went to go see The Lion King, and you and your girlfriend went to go see it with me, the movie itself did not disappoint. At least, for me anyways.
I mean, it was hard to disappoint. It was The Lion King, pretty much shot for shot, almost.
I didn't really have
that's not, like I said, that's not a problem for me. I mean, I like The Lion King. I think the original Lion King is one of the best animated movies of all time. This one, I thought it was okay. I don't think that the decision to go with CGI against like an actual background and stuff was a great idea, but they did it, I guess. The songs were awesome and the voice work was great, but I was not that dazzled with the cinematography as far as the lions themselves and other animals go.
I thought this movie was fabulous. I really love this movie more than a lot of other people did. So the movie itself didn't disappoint. However, the experience in trying to watch it was unbearable, to say the least.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Because here's what happened. Here's what's been going on throughout this thing. And this is This is a problem I've been having with this one cinema that's around my area, Marquee Cinemas. And I don't want to call them out on this, and I've even tried to privately email them, but it's been more than a week, and I have not gotten a single response back from corporate. So they've given me no other choice. But their theater at Pullman Square is fucking ridiculous, because, okay, first off, the image, and when we were seeing The Lion King, it was like the image was stretched out and it was cutting out some of the screen. And I know it's not just me, because like when I saw the opening Disney logo, at the bottom Disney was cut out of it, so I'm like, okay, so it's just not my perception. The screen is legitimately cutting out parts of the movie, so that's awful.
Yeah, and what I think it was even worse is that it's not like the first time that I've gone to a movie at the Marquee Cinema in Pullman, and they just like, for example, when we went to go see Aladdin, they forgot to stretch out the curtains and stuff for like a good 15 to 20 minutes of the movie. I had to get up out of my seat and go tell somebody, hey, uh, somebody forgot to press that, the button or whatever, the curtains blocking the screen and stuff, and it's just really annoying. And this time it was a little worse because not only was there a blown speaker, there were problems with the
Oh.
projector, and then the crowd wasn't
Oh wait.
the best crowd.
Oh,
But
we got to talk about those speakers, cause good,
oh yeah, yeah.
like, this isn't the like okay. Basically, what's been going on with the speakers is that somewhere in the front, one of the speakers around the front, which is the main,
Pretty sure it's on the left side.
yeah, it's on the left side, somewhere around the front on the left side, like it's one of the main music speakers, and every time I've seen a movie
It's like blown out.
yeah, like for some reason, like in the past couple months, like when I saw, what was it? I saw like Shrek in that theater, and the whole "I'm a Believer" thing. What like I was wondering why the music was kind of muffled, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I saw Happy Feet in theater one, and once again the speakers were acting weird because like with Happy Feet the music was really muffled, and sometimes when characters would go to a certain side of the screen, like their words would be muffled. And then with the Lion King it happened again. It's like, what is going on here? Because I could barely hear the music, and I even tried telling the theater owner this, and she was like, I don't know what you're talking about, I can hear it just fine. I'm like, it's like, and didn't you say you had an experience with the speakers as well?
Well, other than them just being blown out and missing.
I mean, like as I think you said, you saw Aladdin again.
Yeah, no, I saw Aladdin in that same theater room, and the left-hand speaker was still blown out. It's been like that for a while. I don't know why it still is. They obviously either just don't care. I don't know. But, like, especially with The Lion King, for me personally, this movie is, like, 100% about the music. Because the visual stuff, while it's not necessarily terrible, I really don't think it's that impressive. It's not, like, the main draw of the movie. And if you're cutting out, like, half of the sound, you're losing, like, stuff that's in the song that you're not going to be able to hear. And I just think that, like, you're paying like $9 a ticket to get into this, and it's not an experience that I would rate at even worth $1.
Like, because like the worst part is that movies like Aladdin or Happy Feet or Lion King, they like music is a big part of those movies.
Yeah.
And I can barely hear the music. Like what? And they've made. And the worst part is that before I actually went to that theater, I actually asked one of the guys at the popcorn stand or whatever, like at the front area or whatnot, and I asked him like, did they fix the speakers? And like, oh yeah, they did. He lied, because I could still barely hear the music. But as if things couldn't get any worse, like people kept doing the douchey thing that I always hate. They're pulling out their phones and texting, which seriously, like, there's so many messages that come out before the movie starts. Hell, even before the trailers start, let's say turn off your phones.
Like I always, like when the trailers are ending, I always turn off my phone, because not that I'm going to be tempted to use it, but I don't want someone to like call me or rely on that I might not have forgotten to turn on like the vibrate or whatever. But like, I don't want it to light up in my pocket or something, or in my lap, depending on where it is. So I just turn it off, because like I'm at a movie. There's nothing, like, I can't leave the movie, so obviously there's nothing that important that somebody could be texting me or calling me about. Plus, like, when you go to a movie, usually you're supposed to watch it. That's like, you already paid the money.
Oh,
So, like, if you don't watch it, you're really just kind of playing yourself.
oh, yeah, because like when I saw Kung Fu Panda in the theaters, I don't think it was theater one, but like this one woman just wouldn't turn off her phone, and like it just like, and I just kept like like politely asking her quietly so I didn't disturb anybody else. Can you please turn off your phone? And then like when the movie ended, I'm like why weren't you turning off your phone? Like, and she's like, oh, it's fine, it's fine. I'm like, no, it's not fine. Like, it's literally the rules. And she's like, I'm trying to make something out of nothing. I'm like, nothing? You're sitting there watching a movie. Like, that's not nothing. If you like, but again, as if things couldn't get any worse at the Lion King showing, this one woman and her dumbass kid kept speaking. They were directly behind me. I could hear every single word they said.
I wouldn't really blame the kid on this one. It was a baby. It's a baby. You're not really supposed. I don't think you're supposed to take babies to a movie, but like at the same time, it's not the baby's fault. It probably wasn't comfortable. Its ears probably hurt.
Well, I mean,
so it was gonna cry.
But
you can't really do anything about that.
But the mother,
yeah, right. But what I'm getting at is that you can't do anything about a crying baby. You can't. It doesn't understand that like it's doing anything wrong. It's like a dog or a cat. Like you can't. What are they gonna do? I think that like the best move would have been not to bring the baby in the first place.
Yeah.
Like noises that exceed like 100 decibels for more than 15 minutes can deafen a baby, which I think is a pretty neat fact that she probably didn't know about. And also, like I said, babies cry uncontrollably sometimes, so why would you bring them to a movie theater where the whole point is to be quiet and watch a movie?
And when I try to ask politely about the baby and whatnot, because the mother's baby was causing a distraction, which she could have maybe just been polite about it and stepped outside or whatnot. But she threatened to call the cops on me even though I did nothing illegal. That's the weird thing. And as if things couldn't get any worse, the theater owners got on my ass about it. And they're like saying, what are we supposed to do about it? I'm like, you could
not allow babies into the movie theater. That's like, wham, that's the solution. There you go.
And even then, like, there were lots of other kids in the theater. Like, there was this one family sitting in front of me, and they were all well behaved.
Yeah, but I mean, they were a lot older. Like, it's different. Like, obviously, you just should not bring a baby to the movie theater.
Yeah, that's
a baby.
Yeah, that's the really main thing. This is just don't bring a baby to the movie theater. And the fact that Marquee Cinemas has done nothing to improve themselves, they keep making the same mistakes, and this is the straw that broke the camel's back for me, because I was so excited for Lion King. And again, for me, the movie itself didn't disappoint, but this, like, Marquee Cinemas, because of their lack of understanding of how to, manage a movie theater from disrespectful audiences and malfunctioning equipment. I mean, like what the hell are they even doing? And again, I hope I'm not coming off as pretentious here, because like I'm not demanding they have heated seats or reclining seats or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to complain if they were to do that, but I'm not demanding it. I just I'm just asking for the basic fundamental principles of movie going, which is working equipment and audiences that are respectful and don't bring their babies into a movie theater, and also just don't turn your phone on. It's absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. Like Marquee Cinema, because how much did like when you were in New York, how much did it cost to get a movie ticket there?
I don't know, like $15 fucking dollars.
Yeah, $15. And God help you if you have a date and you need snacks, especially you.
That's $30, and then popcorn, which is even more expensive. It's really great. In
Yeah.
California, it's even worse. Me and Stephanie went to go see Detroit when we were in LA, and I think I ended up paying almost, like, in total $70 something for tickets and popcorn altogether.
Good Lord.
It was ridiculous. I was like, is this how people live out here? Dude, like, what?
And it's like, So yeah, if you're paying that much money for a movie ticket, then again, I'm not demanding this special treatment or whatnot. I'm just demanding functioning equipment and
I think,
audiences that
yeah,
respectful.
I completely agree. It doesn't matter what you pay for the movie ticket. Really, you already paid for it. Like you're paying for an experience that involves a movie with working sound and just no bright screens and distractions all around you to take your mind off the movie because like that defeats the point. And I think a potential solution would be for them to have specific theaters, especially for families with a bunch of children and babies and stuff. Because I get it, being a parent kind of sucks,
I mean, yeah.
and you shouldn't be forced to like never go. You shouldn't become a hermit because you're a parent. You should still be able to go out and do stuff with your kids and your husband or wife or whatever and your friends. But like
Not the
there are
cost of
just
other
some
people.
things. Yeah, no, of course, obviously. But like I really don't know. I think that would be a pretty good solution.
Oh,
Or maybe if they called ahead and like reserved an entire like I don't know what the name of what they call the room where they show you the movie but with one of those rooms with all the seats and stuff, that way they don't piss off anybody.
actually, the funny thing is, Marquee Cinemas actually does have this program, even though it's meant for mentally challenged kids. But it could still apply to young children, where there's this one like Marquee Cinemas has this thing where kid like the sound is more quiet,
Yeah, yeah,
and
I was reading about that on the internet actually.
so yeah, and like the theater or when she was getting on my ass about it, tried to tell me, oh, it's a kids movie, like kids are noisy. I'm like, okay, well, again, for one, this is where there's a baby we're talking about, and they're sensitive and whatnot. And even then, even if this was a kid who was 5 or 6 or whatever, there were still 5 and 6 year olds who were behaving. So
Yeah.
and they have specific screenings for young children or children with disabilities and whatnot. So what's their like? They gave no legit argument. It's just they don't care. And until they can either get new management that cares, or this current management, I don't know what the manager's name is, but if she like I don't, they're probably not gonna watch this video. They're probably not, but they need to get a clue and realize that if we're paying money to see movies, again, I'm not asking for special treatment or whatnot. I'm not asking for reserved seats or heated seats or seats with reclining seats. Just the basic fundamental principles of a respectful audience. I mean, and working equipment. I mean, am I being too pretentious here?
No, I mean it's not that much to ask, I don't believe.
So yeah, until Marquee Cinemas gets their shit together, I'm going to switch over to Cinemark. I mean, because I haven't been to Cinemark a lot, but my experiences there have been nice. I mean, how have your experiences been at Cinemark? You've been there more than me.
For the most part, nice. I've only ever had one bad experience there, but it wasn't because of the theater staff or the movie theater.
Just annoying audiences.
Not annoying audiences, but this one lady was, well, she was a whole meme, bro.
What movie were you seeing, and what was the
I
content?
went, I went and saw Hot Tub Time Machine 2 with a bunch of my friends. I think it was like me, my friend Chad. This is like when I was in 10th or 11th grade. No, yeah, I was in 10th grade. So we went and saw Hot Tub Time Machine 2, and there was this lady there, and um, every every time she would laugh, it was really loud and obnoxious. So my friend Chad, he started doing it. He did it first. He just did a little like ha, and that was it. And then I think I did it once. We all just kind of took turns doing it every time she would laugh because like it was we were a as fuck. B it was super loud and I didn't think that was her actual laugh. I thought she was just like making some kind of joke, but no, it turned out that it was. And so she turned around, gets really angry, and says, "Which one of you was making fun of my laugh?" And then she points at my friend and says, "I bet it was you." And as I'm leaving the movie theater, I say, "No, it was me." All right, yeah. So I went to the lobby. She follows me out there and starts saying "fuck you" and this and that. And then I'm just standing there nonchalantly saying, "Okay, yeah, sure, me too." And then she says, "You know what? You're what makes me hate." And then she said the N word,
Oh my god!
but with an S at the end. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, sure, why not? And then her friends started grabbing her and leaving because it seemed that she was preparing to hit me, which I really wish she would have, because I'm pretty sure that would have been a hate crime. But
I mean,
and also I was a minor, but whatever.
ugh.
It was that's the only bad experience I've had there, and that was only because some people that go to movie theaters are garbage, and that you can't really help that.
I did not expect the Hannahcast to take this turn. I mean, wow, holy shit! I mean, that escalated way more than
I
it should
really
have.
when she said it, like when she said it, I initially was just like, no, she didn't just say that. Like, no. Like I was just like in shock. She was like this really short. She was like 4'11" maybe. She had like black hair. She looked like she might have smoked meth once or twice in her life. I don't know,
Oh
but
my
she
god.
just looked like one of those trailer park creatures, bro. And I was surprised, but at the same time, I like got a really good look at her, and then I was completely not surprised by the fact that she just said what she said.
Oh my god. That is I don't know whether to laugh or cringe.
It's a little cringe, but I laugh about it most of the time. He's like, what the fuck else can you do?
That is that oh wow. Yeah, I'm going to assume that she's probably worse than that mother that I had to deal with, cuz at least there. I mean, granted. I mean, what? I mean,
I don't know.
oh,
Threatening to call the cops on you for no reason was pretty. She
that.
was. She seemed like a Karen, bro.
I mean, like really, like how is it like? There's I did nothing illegal. The only
You
reason.
you illegally told her baby to. You illegally told her to do something about her crying baby. That's
I mean,
illegal.
the
I
like
just
the
passed this law.
the worst, the thing that I was scared of the most is that maybe I was the reason why I just turned away and just stopped is like I was worried that she was going to call the cops and lie that I did something illegal. Like, I mean, I'm not. I mean, I don't know if I'm making up conspiracy theories here, but I'm just afraid of that. It's like she could probably do that. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, shoot. I don't. I think when someone brings up cops, I usually start leaving them alone because cops are a whole hassle.
I mean, yeah. I don't want. I mean, I haven't gotten in trouble with the law yet. I don't want. I
Me
don't.
neither.
I didn't want to start that then. But
Yeah, it
anyway,
wasn't worth it. You gotta pick your battles.
yeah. Anyways, bottom line is, fuck you if you bring your phone out. Fuck you if you talk loudly during a movie. Unless you and your friends are the only ones in that theater, or it's the room. Other than those times, then fuck you if you talk loudly during a movie. Fuck you, Marquee Cinemas, for not even attempting to fix your technical problems, and fuck you for getting on my ass about some dumbass mother who won't shut her baby up. Which, yeah, I get being a parent is hard, but you're honestly being a dick to everyone else when you bring a baby into a movie theater who can't control themselves. And even then, fuck you for bringing a baby into a movie theater, because like you just said, it's not good for a baby's ears. Like, make sure they're well behaved, wait till they're like 5 or 6 or something, and then take them to the theater. Anyways, went on a bit of a tangent there, so we're gonna slide on into our next subject, which is the trailer for this movie called The Lighthouse, which is.
Yeah, the guy that made The Witch is doing this, and I'm just gonna say I'm excited. I love The Witch.
I haven't
And
seen The Witch yet. I do. I think it's on Netflix. I want
yeah,
to watch
it is. It is on Netflix. You should watch it. It's one of the best horror movies ever. It's really a movie that just makes you feel wrong on every level, and it's great. I love it.
I mean, it is done by A24, and Jesus Christ, A24 also did Hereditary, which.
Yeah, dude. Hereditary was also like they just keep pumping. I need to watch Midsummer. I haven't actually seen it yet.
I want to see it too. I actually really do want to see
But
that.
Hereditary really like they just every time I watch one of their horror movies, I'm just like God damn, bro, how the heck am I gonna sleep tonight? Like, how's that gonna supposed to happen after watching this?
And this new movie, The Lighthouse, looks absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it
Like,
looks really gnarly. It looks like something out of like some kind of Lovecraftian horror or something. I'm excited.
it looks like something that would be like made in the like maybe the 1950s or 60s or something, like in black and white. And
Yeah.
even the aspect ratio is really interesting because like okay, well for one, Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson are in this, which
Yes.
like whenever they are not playing either the Green Goblin or a sparkling vampire, they both are terrific actors. And especially since Robert Pattinson's going to be our new Batman, which I'm fascinated by. But this movie, The Lighthouse, I don't know exactly what it's about. All I know is that it's about these two lighthouse keepers who are looking after this lighthouse or whatever, and it seems like the claustrophobia is getting to them.
Yeah.
And all
I mean, I don't know. There might be something else at play too. I mean, there was a scene where like a bunch of water just came in through the window of the lighthouse for like no reason. I don't know. Either way, it looks like they're not in for a good time
like
as the trailer shows.
did you see there was even a mermaid in there?
Yeah, yeah. I
What
did
the
spot that.
hell? A mermaid? Like, oh, I hope this does what I love, like when they do this with mermaids, is making mermaids, going back to the original folklore of mermaids, which is they look beautiful and whatnot, but they are vicious predators. Sort of like,
Yeah, kind of like sirens.
or yeah, exactly. That's what they, yeah. Sort of like how Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides did that, which I'm a unabashed fan of the Pirates of the Caribbean sequels. Haven't seen the latest one, but I really liked all of them, especially on Stranger Tides. And the best scene in that movie was those ferocious mermaids. Like
I like the mermaids in Harry Potter too.
I have not seen the Harry Potter movies, which is weird because I have them on Blu-ray. So
You should watch them. They're pretty okay. They're
yeah, I
better
do.
than the books.
But I do want to try to see them. But man, what was that one thing that was coming out of the water in the Lighthouse trailer? Was that like
You know what? I don't know. It was
it looked like it had tentacles,
yeah, I think it was like a leviathan or a giant squid or
like
something.
maybe a kraken? I mean, who knows? Which was also on Pirates of the Caribbean. How weird. But this movie, The Lighthouse, looks absolutely nutty. Again, I really gotta see The Witch, and seeing as how this is gonna be this guy's next directorial effort, I'm fascinated by this. This looks weird. It looks creepy. Let me look on.
It also looks suspenseful too. It looks like it's gonna be really intense. Like most of The Witch is really intense, so is Hereditary, so obviously I'm expecting to feel very uneasy while watching this movie.
Yeah, like I'm going to look up The Lighthouse right now. Let's see, because like I've even been hearing some really good buzz about it. So it's like, where is it? Ah, damn it, wrong one. No, do. I am. Let's see. Oh, here we go. The Lighthouse. Whoa. So far, with 52 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, out of 52 critics, 98% of the critics liked it. It says, and the critics' consensus says, a gripping story, brilliantly filmed and led by a pair of powerhouse performances. The Lighthouse further establishes Robert Eggers as a filmmaker of exceptional talent. Especially since the buzz is getting really good for this, I have to see this. Like, I hope this comes to Cinemark, because this could be, it comes out in October apparently, which is going to be a really cool Halloween little experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, this trailer was really, really good. I can't wait to see it. So, yeah. Our next topic, you would probably know a little bit more about this because you're more into comics than I am, but I don't know if you know anything about this. But apparently, DC is supposedly going to be doing a new Gods movie directed by Ava DuVernay, and whether or not he's the main villain or not, we don't know. But it looks like Darkseid is going to make an appearance. Wow, pulling out the guns that quickly, huh?
Well, honestly, that doesn't surprise me that much. DC has a really bad habit of pulling out the guns too early. For example, making an Avengers-like movie without giving any setup to any of the characters except for, like, two, maybe. Yeah,
I mean,
two.
that wasn't
Um,
that wasn't really my issue with Justice League because like I've
that was
seen.
part of my issue with Justice League. The other issue was just it was not. I do not think it was a good movie at all. I think the visuals were terrible. Not, yeah, terrible. Terrible is a word that I would use, especially Cyborg and the end sequence.
Like
But
I did enjoy Justice League. I thought it was decent, but like again, my problem like I didn't really have an issue with the way with the having a superhero team up film without without previous films because I mean, I didn't like the first X-Men movie, but I mean everyone else did love the first X-Men movie, and I mean, and that didn't have any other movies. There's Lord of the Rings. Like even if you just took Fellowship of the Ring, I mean, the characters are really well developed there, and there's so many of them. For me, that wasn't my problem with Justice League, but I mean, but the whole thing with Darkseid and New Gods, I'm like, wow. I mean, this is like this is really like this is like holy shit levels of villains because I mean again, what do you know about Darkseid? You would know more. You probably know more about Darkseid than I do.
he's kind of like DC's Thanos. He's super powerful. I'm pretty sure Superman's really the only one that can like stand up and fight him. But if I'm not mistaken, which one? Hang on, was it Darkseid? Um, no, it was Doomsday that killed him. But
Uh,
uh, I mean, I'm not too particularly excited about this. In my opinion, DC has managed to make two um, average at best movies out of all the movies that they have made in their movieverse thus far. Um, I'm waiting for it to come out to watch it to really see if they do anything good with it, but I really doubt they're going to.
I mean, I think DC's on a pretty good streak right now. Again, I haven't seen Aquaman, but that got some pretty good reviews. Shazam got
It was alright.
Shazam got way better reviews than I expected it was going to get. They're doing Joker later on this year, which isn't connected to the universe, but I'm psyched as hell for it.
Yeah, I'm excited for Joker. Shazam was a lot better than Aquaman, but that's not saying too much. Aquaman for me wasn't that great. They have this bad habit of overusing CGI and making the whole screen look like the beginning of Star Wars Episode 3, like just a complete mess where you can't tell what is happening or why it's happening. Um, kind of like the ending to Wonder Woman or also all of the Justice League. Shazam is really the only one that hasn't, at least in my opinion, overkilled it with the CGI. But um, I don't know. I just don't think that Warner Bros. Or whoever's in charge of this thing is doing a terrific job.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's really CGI in and of itself because I mean look, I mean let's take a look at Mad Max Fury Road. That movie is littered with CGI. It's just that we never notice it. I mean, I think the real problem is that at least for you,
Yeah,
anyways.
that's how you have good CGI. Bad CGI is
Yeah, I
CGI
think.
that you notice and it attracts
Oh
to
yeah,
itself.
like I mean yeah, I
Like
think.
in most of the DC movies.
I mean, yeah, for you, I mean, again, I think for you the problem is bad CGI, not CGI of itself. I thought, aside from Justice League, the CGI has been pretty good. I mean, I still think DC's best usage of CGI was still Man of Steel, but regardless, I mean, Darkseid again. I don't even really know what New Gods is. Do you know? Do you have any idea what New Gods is?
No, I haven't really read a lot of DC comics. I'm more of a Marvel dude. I like the. I'm sorry. The two DC comic books that I've read all the way through are Watchmen, V for Vendetta, which I think was actually technically Dark Horse, so that might not even count. Um, I also really enjoyed the New 52 Teen Titans. Those are pretty good. Um,
So,
yeah, I hope the movie's good because I like good superhero movies. My problem is, in my opinion, DC makes a lot of bad ones.
I mean,
Or Warner, I guess I shouldn't say DC because like Batman Begins and Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises were amazing, and that's DC. But like, you know, I just don't know what's going on.
the
They're
DC
like,
universe, basically.
it's not even a question of good or bad CGI. I just think that they're using it too much.
I mean, I might have to disagree with you there on the CGI again, because like I've seen movies that were littered with CGI and they looked amazing. Again, the
Okay,
problem.
right. But like when you can't really tell that it's there because a lot of Mad Max, sure, there was CGI, but a lot of it was practical effects and
But
cars that they built with the guitar rig. That was 100% practical. The shot flames and everything. It's awesome.
but
You,
oh,
what I'm getting at is that when you have like scenes in like Aquaman example, for example, where you have a giant underwater fight where there's just a bunch of stuff happening, but it's all happening so fast, and there's so much crappy giant fish CGI. Like you can tell that it's like it looks like a video game basically, and that at that point when you get to those levels of just mess, I think that like you're really just not using CG correctly. You're
that's
doing a very bad thing.
like that. I don't like. Again, I haven't seen Aquaman, and I mean, but if you think the CGI wasn't that good, then that's fine. That's fine to Chris. Like that's a good thing to for like that's I can at least understand that because I don't want to see bad CGI in the movie. That's why I'm saying the question is getting really good with CGI, which oddly enough kind of brings us to the next topic, which is another example of a movie that was littered with CGI but looked damn near flawless. We're going to talk about the 2016 Jungle Book, directed by Jon Favreau. And I'm going to make a lot of people mad here. I didn't like the original animated Jungle Book, honestly. I thought it was kind of like I don't know what you think of the original, but like for me, it was just it felt kind of sketchy. It wasn't really all that interesting, and the characters kind of made weird decisions, in my opinion. And so when I heard that they were doing a remake of the Jungle Book, I was like, okay, I wonder how this is going to turn out. I was a little bit iffy on it, but when I saw that first trailer, I was like, whoa, this is what they're doing with the Jungle Book? And eventually when it came out, I was absolutely floored. And again, the reason why I'm reviewing this now is because it's still a catalog review that I've still yet to do as of right now. But what'd you think of Jon Favreau's Jungle Book?
I think for me, in my opinion, it was better than the original. Not to say that I don't like the original, but it hasn't aged incredibly. It was made in 1967, and you can tell it was made in 1967. But I still think the songs, they hold up. They're all good. But for me, if I'm gonna watch the Jungle Book, I'll probably watch the new one. I think that while yes, it had a lot of CG, they weren't doing anything too complicated, which is why it looked really good. Like the Christopher Walken's character in that movie.
Oh, King Louis.
King Louis looked amazing. And what I really liked my favorite scene, I should say, was probably Scarlett Johansson's scene in this movie where she played the snake. And,
yeah.
That was really just incredible. I think the CG work on that snake was like terrifying. It looked scary, which you can't really say the same for the 1967 Jungle Book. Like again, not trashing it, but there's just two very different atmospheres in these movies, and I think I appreciate what Jon Favreau's vision of this movie delivered to us over the original Jungle Book.
Yeah, I like what the Jungle Book did with visual effects. Because when I heard that they were going to be doing an entire, everything except for the boy was going to be CGI, I was like, how in the world are they going to do that? And even today, a few years later, I I still cannot believe what I'm looking at. Because, like, that one shot of, where Mowgli is getting ready to walk towards the water hole and he passes by all these animals. It's like, how was this not filmed in a real location? This looks way too real. It's freaky how real it looks. One of the things that I thought was kind of lame about the original was the original Jungle Book was Shere Khan. Because it's like, they constantly built this guy up as like, oh man, you don't want to mess with Shere Khan. And then he does nothing. Like, they do nothing to back up how terrifying this guy is. Whereas in the new Jungle Book, they do talk about how frightening Shere Khan is, but he is honestly one of the scariest Disney villains in the past few years, played by Idris Elba. What'd you think of him?
I thought that Idris Elba did a great job with Shere Khan. Did you? Actually, never mind. But yeah, I also really, really enjoyed Bill Murray as Baloo in this. I think he really not stole the show because I think everybody did a fantastic job. Like the actors that they have for this movie, the cast is just star-studded. They have some really legendary voices in this movie. And for me, it just surprises me that it was so good, especially with the child actor that really had to act with a lot of
Nothing,
so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and it worked. Like it did work. He really did a great job. Even though he was probably just in like a green or blue room, spouting lines.
Yeah, it's real. And the weird thing is, I'm surprised the kid, Neil Sethi, it's either, I don't know if it's Sethi or Seti. I don't know how you pronounce it.
I think it's Seti. I could be wrong. Let's ask Google.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe Google might get that wrong, because, I always try to look for actors pronouncing their own names, because it's like, okay, now I know how to pronounce her name. Like, for example, with Gal Gadot, she pronounced her name as Gal Gadot, so I'm like, okay, she's Gal Gadot. But, however you pronounce his last name, Neil Sethi, or Sethi, or whatever, like, he was really good in this movie, and I'm surprised his career never took off after that. Because really, I mean, have you ever seen anything, with him, like, major with him in it, as of recently?
Actually, I have not.
Yeah, the one thing I think he did, probably the biggest thing he did after The Jungle Book was that he made a guest star appearance on the Tracy Morgan show, The Last OG, and that was
Right.
it. Like,
Yeah, it is Seti.
Okay, it's Seti. Yeah, I don't know why this kid hasn't taken off. I think he
was definitely easily one of the best parts of the Jungle Book 2016.
Yeah,
movie.
and also I kind of like I also do agree that Ka was very well utilized, because it's like, what makes, what I mean, I'm not trying to diss on what was that one guy's name? Like the guy who played the original Ka. I didn't really understand how he was meant to be like this hypnotic, character. Like, I'm like, what's so hypnotic about him? But having Scarlett Johansson play her, yeah, I mean, not just because she's Scarlett Johansson, but I mean, like, her voice is legitimately magnetic, and like, it's just like so strange, and like they animate, and also, holy shit, like, have you noticed that a lot of the animals in this movie are fucking huge compared to they were in the original? Like,
that's true.
Ka is enormous, like, way bigger than any snake that exists, and, why not just talk about King Louie? I mean, because, like, when I saw the trailer for the Jungle Book, and I saw, this orange arm coming out of coming out of this one building, I'm like, what the is that actually King Louie? Because, like, I had no idea, like, but, yeah, like, they made King Louie, like, he's not an orangutan in this version, because, especially in the song, he's a Gigantopithecus, which I don't know if you know. I don't know if you know what Gigantopithecus is, but it was basically a prehistoric ape. It was probably the largest primate in the that we know of so far, and
Pretty sure it was one of the only great apes.
Yeah, it was really, really big, and the fact that they made Christopher not only did they make Christopher Walken into a Gigantopithecus, but they also had him singing "Ooby-Doo, I wanna be like you." Like, that's, I don't know why, but I mean, like, it's It's so, like, in a good way, so strange to hear Christopher Walken singing as a giant ape. I don't know why, but that is... and even weirdly enough, they even... I could swear they even modeled the face to make him look like Christopher Walken a bit.
Yeah, I think Christopher Walken really knocked it out of the park, especially with his singing and his voice work and the Gigantopithecus.
Yeah, it's like, and like, I also love the lore that they gave to the Jungle Book a little bit, like, the truce rock or like the water truce or whatever. Like, I like that. The sort of, how they treat the elephants as almost like royalty is really, really good. And like, it's such a really heartfelt movie. And also, like, I've always had a problem with the original Jungle Book's ending because it never made sense to me. I'm going a little bit of spoilers here. I'm going to put like a little spoiler thing on the screen. So unless you have already seen the original and the remake of the Jungle Book, then unless you have seen them, then skip this part. But regardless, I never understood the ending of the original Jungle Book because he was sent to go to the Man Village because Shere Khan was going to come after him. But once they defeated Shere Khan, like, he still goes to the Man Village. I never understood that because it's like... And he only goes because he sees a pretty girl. And I'm like, what? Whereas in this one, I mean, considering Shere Khan's already dealt with, it's like, well, what's the point of going into the Man Village anymore? It's like that Shere Khan was the only reason why he was sent to go. So... after taking care of Shere Khan, it kind of makes sense that he would just stick around. I mean, I don't know. Am I being crazy here, or do you have a different opinion than me? Or
I mean, maybe for a little bit, but like you also have to understand that he's like a human.
Well,
In
yeah,
the
yeah.
original- in the original one, I'm not saying that it makes perfect sense, but like if you think about it, Mowgli's eventually going to grow up and he's gonna want to mate with something, and he can't do it with one of those animals. That would be counterintuitive.
Oh god, I don't want to think about that, but like, I don't know. It's just from, if they had given another reason for him to go back to the Man Village, then okay, that'd be fine. But it's just like, but I mean, but whatever. In the context of this film, like him just, Shere Khan's already dealt with, and supposedly Jon Favreau's going to be doing a Jungle Book 2. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I mean, we'll have to see if that happens. Hopefully, Neil Sethi can continue doing Seti can continue doing some really good things, because I would really love to see this kid take off and just do some more things, because he really deserves it, in my opinion. So, really, in essence, I feel like I loved the Jungle Book, this new one. I thought it was fantastic. I think it's probably my second favorite of the live-action Disney remakes, right behind The Lion King. But even then, I am in the vast minority on when it comes to The Lion King or whatnot. But I thought the Jungle Book was fantastic. I thought it was way better than the original version. Had way more developed characters. Visual effects is are probably some of the most staggering and one of the greatest achievements in visual effects I've ever seen in my life. What are your brief thoughts on the Jungle Book?
I think it's the best of the Disney live-action remakes. I really enjoyed it. I think they did a good job in sort of telling a story that's already been told, but changing the direction and atmosphere of it to the point where it feels like its own thing.
Yeah, again, like, for me, I could go, like when it comes to remaking something, you could go either way. I didn't like the original Jungle Book, so I was hoping they would change a lot of it, so, hey, I'm glad they did, so there's that. Next, in preparation for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, it's, considering I missed last month, I am compensating with this month by having 2 Star Wars reviews, the first one we're going to be talking about is Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, which I just rewatched earlier today. Basically, if you don't know what Rogue One is, it is quite honestly the second paragraph of the opening crawl of A New Hope, where it's basically showing how these rebel soldiers and whatnot, well, not really rebel soldiers, like this group of people who align towards the rebel allegiance and whatnot, they go to steal the plans for the Death Star, and Yeah, that's basically it. I was really fascinated by the concept of this movie, and when I saw it, it really did not disappoint. I thought it was a really good telling of the story. It was sort of like Dunkirk in a way where it doesn't give you a whole lot of character, but it's done so to sort of put you in the situation and whatnot. And the visual spectacle is amazing. And so yeah, I really enjoyed Rogue One. How about you?
Yeah, I thought Rogue One was great. I thought initially when I heard what it was going to be about, I was like, is that a story that we really need to know about? And while the answer at the end of the day will, from me at least, always be no, it's not something that we really need to know about. It's so cool that they did it because they put a lot of stuff lore-wise into the Star Wars movie universe. For example, the character of Krennic, who
Oh,
was the one responsible for creating the Death Star. The only real problem I had with the movie, and even then it's not that big of a problem, I just understand the technology's not there yet, is the uncanny valley effects you really get from Tarkin and Princess Leia. I don't know why they had to CG Princess Leia. I really think they could have just taken footage from Episode 4 and done something that wasn't a CG stand-in for her. Either way, I don't think it was that big of a deal. Like it looks good enough, but when you look at it, you're really going to be able to tell that you're staring at a guy that's wearing a hood made out of green screen, which really kind of surprises me because they use the same technique for Blade Runner 2049 to bring back that.
Sean
Um,
Young, Rachel.
yeah, the Rachel, yeah, Rachel. And I think in Blade Runner 2049, I almost couldn't tell that it was CG. I had to look at some of the behind the scenes stuff to actually find out that it was CG. But the techniques are a little different because they still have. I'm pretty sure they still used Sean Young in the movie.
No, actually, they
Um,
didn't.
they didn't. Okay, then it
No,
must have just been her face.
but like the thing for like I think with Blade Runner actually funny enough with Blade Runner 2049, I still have not seen the original Blade Runner. So when so when Rachel walked up on screen, it did not even faze me. I was like, who is that? I mean, I knew it had to be someone important to Deckard, but I was but then
Yeah.
when I found out that that was actually a character from the original movie and that was CG, I was like, what the
Yeah, dude,
fuck?
it's like you can't even really tell. Like it's when I first watched it, I could not tell, but when I watched Rogue One, I could tell. Now, to be fair, I'm
I think
pretty
like
sure
Tarkin had a bigger
2049.
role than Rachel did.
Well, kind of, yeah. Tarkin was he was in A New Hope. He was kind of the guy that was left in charge of the Death Star, so to speak. He blew up Alderaan and all that, and um, you can really kind of tell that it's CG. And I'll give Blade Runner 2049 this. They probably had more time to advance, or I'll give Rogue One this. They probably had more time to advance the technology in shoot, what's it in Blade Runner, because Blade Runner came out almost a year after Rogue One, and we'd never really seen something like this before Rogue One, I do believe.
I mean, we have
But
seen a little bit of that. Like they did that with Benjamin Button, and I mean, granted, that looks really weird. I mean, I haven't seen Benjamin Button, but I've seen like the
well,
visual
right,
effects
right. No, but I'm
breakdowns.
saying like bringing someone like in Tarkin's case back from the dead, um, just completely reconstructing their face out of CG. I like I said, you can tell, but it's not bad enough to the point where it really takes anything away from the movie. I think the characters in the movie, while not very deep, they are interesting enough and they're consistent. They
Yeah,
don't really, go against their own established, morals and ways of thinking within the movie, which I think is good because it makes them feel more alive, um, which they didn't really have to do since like these characters are only going to be here for this movie. But they're all great. I think that everyone that was involved did a great job. I really enjoyed um, the blind the blind
oh,
guy
Donnie
who
Yen's
was in, yeah
character.
yeah He was incredible.
Oh my god, I forgot how much I loved Donnie Yen's character. Like, he was so cool. Like, I mean, like Donnie. Okay, first getting Donnie Yen for a Star Wars movie.
That was a great decision. That was a great decision.
I don't know that much about Donnie Yen, but isn't he like one of China's like biggest stars? Or
yeah,
what?
he's okay. So he has a series of movies called Ip Man. He's like a modern day Bruce Lee.
Wait a minute. Didn't he do an Ip Man movie with Mike Tyson?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, because you were saying?
He is like a master of martial arts. For me, he's up there with like the greats like Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee. He really puts like he really makes the whole martial arts things look awesome, and he's really good at what he does. And I think that they really took advantage of that in this movie, giving his character a few cool scenes of hand-to-hand stuff and making him fight like with a stick in his fists and the Force. I think that was really awesome, and I really liked the sort of dynamic between him and his bounty hunter friend.
Oh yeah, that was great, and especially when it comes to the action scenes and whatnot with Donnie Yen, like it's so cool. Like even when you're watching it, it's like, oh wait, that's not a stunt double. That's actually Donnie Yen doing all that shit. It's nuts. I could like if Disney Plus were to do like if they were to do like a prequel series with Donnie Yen and his bounty hunter friend, I would so watch that. Like,
Me too.
Yeah, and another
especially because like. I didn't really care for the prequel movies. I hope they make new ones, but that's besides the point.
But like, yeah, I really liked Donnie Yen's character. I also really liked K2SO, voiced by Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, Alan Turing. Yeah, that was
Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, sorry, Turing. But yeah, it was. K2SO was one of the funniest characters in the whole movie. Donnie Yen provided his own form of comic relief too. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
So like K2SO, yeah, like when he was getting kidnapped. And,
are you kidding me? I'm blind.
Yeah, I'm blind. But yeah, K2SO was hilarious throughout almost the whole movie. Do not resist. We're rescuing you or whatever. He also when they were gonna go into the city and Galen Erso was like. I don't want you to be standing near you in that city because I might get shot. And he was like, oh, it doesn't sound so bad to me.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. He did a great job. I also thoroughly enjoyed seeing Saw Gerrera, the actor.
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker, yeah. Forrest Whitaker in this movie. I think he did an amazing job of playing Saw Gerrera, who is a guy that I actually knew about before watching the movie because of the Star Wars, the Clone Wars animated series on Cartoon Network and Netflix. Saw Gerrera was actually in that.
Did he actually have that voice?
No, I do not believe he was voiced by Forrest Whitaker, and he didn't sound like that. But the thing is like you have to understand that the Clone Wars in relation to the Battle of Yavin, which is like about the year that the 4, 5, and 6 take place, including Rogue One. It's a very long time, so he aged quite a bit. It would have made sense to me. It made sense to me to see him as an old, frail man who's been torn up by years and years of battle because of how extreme he was in the series.
Oh yeah, like. I was just commenting on because, like, in the movie, again, this isn't actually an issue. It's one of those things where, like it's not an issue, but it's one of those things that you can joke about. His voice is kind of funny.
Lies, deceptions. Yeah, dude, it's fucking great.
Yeah, and like
we'll get the truth.
Yeah, like that weird tentacle monster, which but like and also this is directed by Gareth Edwards, who. I feel like he's a very underutilized director nowadays, because like I don't think he's ever directed anything other than Godzilla and Rogue One, and he's fantastic at directing, like especially when it comes to size.
I think he got a lot better by the time Rogue One rolled around. I thought Godzilla was all right. I don't think it was incredible. King of Monsters hasn't come out yet, right?
No, it's been out for actually a while now, and it hasn't been doing that well in the box office.
Well, That doesn't really surprise me. I watched the trailers and I wasn't that excited. I'm still gonna watch it either way, just because like I've already seen the first movie. I might as well see if they at least learn from their mistakes. Because like the issue with the first Godzilla movie for me is that there is not enough like giant monsters beating each other up. That's kind of like the whole point of a Godzilla movie. There's a bunch of like human crap that I don't care about because it doesn't matter. And they killed Bryan Cranston within like the first 30 minutes of the movie. So like by the time it got to the end, I really didn't care about what was happening.
Personally, I disagree about Godzilla because, like, I've seen movies that had, nothing but monster fights, like Pacific Rim, and for me, it got a little bit boring after a while. But I mean, again, that's
I
perfectly.
mean, I wouldn't say that you need nothing but monster fights, and honestly, I think Pacific Rim was a lot better than Godzilla. The second Pacific Rim movie sucked, but the first one was pretty fucking good.
I mean,
Um,
I mean,
the
oh,
my issue with Godzilla is that they took too much time to focus on not only multiple people, which kind of made it hard to like keep up with who was doing what and what was going on, and also the trailers really mismarketed the movie and Bryan Cranston's involvement in the movie. They really made it seem like he was almost like the main character of the movie, when really there wasn't even one main character, at least as far as people go. In the Godzilla movie, there was like five, and I don't know why they chose to do that instead of just having Godzilla, maybe the army or whatever, Bryan Cranston or whoever, trying to save everyone as quickly as possible before Godzilla and other monsters fuck up everything because they're gonna beat the crap out of each other.
wow, this just turned into a Godzilla review, but like,
Oh yeah, crap. My bad.
yeah, no, that's fine, that's fine. That's a great thing about film, and the opinions that come from it. But like, again, going back to Gareth Edwards. One thing that I love about Gareth Edwards is that he knows how to shoot big things. Like
Yeah, I will give him that.
he puts the camera or the ground perspective. Like, like holy shit, the last act of Rogue One is like this is Star Wars. Like it's always been called Star Wars, but I never felt it was a war. I mean, it's not an actual issue. It's not. But it's just kind of funny that it's Star Wars, but it never felt like a war. This felt like I always like to say this. It's Dunkirk in space.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about saying that it's never felt like a war. I don't know. Episode 5 had a lot of really great space battles. Episode 6 was an entire just ground and space battle, the Rebel versus the Empire for the last time. And again, Episode 6 wasn't my favorite Star Wars movie, but I think for the most part, at least with the original sequel trilogy, you've had a good amount of action. I think Rogue One really did a great job and took it to the next level in the space battles and stuff. There was a lot of really cool stuff. I really liked the part where they had that ship that just rammed that Empire
Oh
spaceship
God,
into the whole shield thing. That was awesome.
that was
And then Darth Vader.
holy shit, Darth Vader.
Dude, that was incredible. That was amazing. I thought that
Oh,
was one of the best scenes in a movie of that year.
oh yeah, like
He was terrifying. James Earl Jones did a fantastic job of delivering the Darth Vader lines, and he was just a menace and a threat the whole time.
I don't think Darth Vader has ever been scarier in a film. I think
Yeah, I agree.
I think he was.
For me, it's between this and Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, that you have the two best versions of Darth Vader. I think Empire would probably be responsible for nailing his look and what he does, because in Empire he was a real badass not to be fucked with. I mean, he froze a dude in carbonite just to attract his son so that he could fight him. He also, like, nearly choked a guy to death he did choke a guy to death just because he let one rebel ship through a blockade, which, I mean, he just was a guy that wanted things done as quickly and efficiently as possible, and if you didn't do it, he was gonna kill you.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the thing for me, what makes Darth Vader so scary in Rogue One is like legitimately how they film it all. Like I'm not going to give it away, but basically there's a scene that where like when you see Darth Vader, you like it's all dark and then his lightsaber lights up.
Yeah,
That
that
scene,
was a really good scene.
oh my god, yeah, that was nuts. Like, yeah, can you hear me?
Hmm.
Okay, I can hear you now. Well, I mean, I could not hear you, but I just want to make sure you could hear me. So yeah, Rogue One. I thought it was a really, really good Star Wars movie. I thought it was a really great war movie. Uh, Again, it gives you at least for me, anyways, it gives me enough character to care about the characters, but leaves it open a little bit more to sort of put yourself in the situation because like there's a lot of ground shots and whatnot. I thought I thought Rogue One was really good. I'm actually, it's one of those movies that I was actually kind of surprised that it made over $1 billion because it's like it's not like no one really wanted like no one was really clamoring for this kind of a Star Wars movie to come out, but I mean, hey, even though no one really needed this for this movie to come out, I'm really glad that it did because like it really showed off some I'll probably even say this is like I'm not giving away the ending of this movie, but with Rogue One, the ending is ballsy because like this is like their second this was Disney's second attempt at a Star Wars film, and I mean Force Awakens was really well received and so was Rogue One. I mean all of them have been really well received, but with Rogue One they went so dark with this ending that I'm honestly shocked they actually had the balls to do that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I also, what I really enjoyed about Rogue One was the sort of tension that you saw. Like not I wouldn't. Well, I mean, I guess some of it you could call infighting within the Empire, but the sort of tension that you got between Krennic and Tarkin, for example. Tarkin obviously wanting to go over Krennic's head, Krennic not wanting to let Tarkin get the best of him, which ultimately at the end it was irrelevant because Krennic was kind of a goof. But I really liked that it fleshed out both the Rebel Alliance and the Empire as factions with people in them that have goals and reasons for doing what they do. Um, I think that that was a really good part of this movie and something that really kind of that they focused on.
Yeah, I completely agree. I thought Rogue One was great. I don't know exactly where I'd rank it among the Star Wars movies, but it's pretty high up. So yeah, I definitely recommend Rogue One: A Star Wars Story. And oddly enough, the ending of Rogue One: A Star Wars Story leads right into
Yep, episode 4, A New Hope.
yeah. Now the version that I'm reviewing is because like I actually recently got the original Star Wars trilogy on Blu-ray, but it's like the official Blu-ray and whatnot. That does have the special edition changes, but
Yeah.
however, even with the special edition changes, like I literally just watched it not too long ago before we started the thing, and here's like basically I even with the special edition changes, for some reason I actually really liked New Hope a lot more than I have, and that's not because of the special editions, but it's like I kind of had this weird thing with A New Hope. Like the first time I saw it, I thought it was okay. Then the second time I saw it, I thought it was really good. Then another time, it was a little bit better than okay. But I think right now back to think like I think A New Hope is really really good, even with the special edition changes. Not because of them. Like I'll get into the special edition changes here in a bit, but man, like it's honestly kind of surprising how well A New Hope does hold up after like since it was released in the 70s.
1977.
Yeah, like I because like now granted
It's
there
42 years, I'm pretty sure.
god damn like yeah that's what I'm talking about uh like Star Wars: A New Hope did change cinema and whatnot, and but even then, I don't know. What are your thoughts on Star Wars: A New Hope?
Now, I love Star Wars: A New Hope. I personally am in possession of what you would call the despecialized editions. So that's how I've always watched A New Hope because I really think that uh, George Lucas should be remembered in the history books with the likes of Adolf Hitler for butchering art and causing millions of deaths with the alterations he made to these movies. But that's besides the point. Episode 4 is easily my second favorite Star Wars movie of all time. I think it's fantastic. I think that the attention to detail in it is incredible. The practical effects are just amazing. Even 42 years later, they still hold up to a degree. Now, sure, you can tell, like, for example, in the scenes where you see Luke riding around in his speeder on Tatooine, you can kind of tell that the dude that's in the driver's seat of the speeder is either a action figure or a dummy. That doesn't matter that much for C-3PO, obviously, because, he's a robot. He's plated in gold. If you have an action figure or a dummy of the robot, you're going to be able to make it look exactly like a robot, regardless. But even then, the special effects for the Death Star, the Millennium Falcon, the space battles, the lightsabers, the blasters, it all really holds up and immerses you in the tale that they're showing you, and it really, for me, just is probably one of the best starts to any series in any movie. That was pretty much all I did have to say. Episode 4 is a classic, and I thoroughly enjoy it every time that I watch it. I do, however, really hate what George Lucas did to these movies in the years after it was made and released into theaters. For example, having Han shoot second for no reason, even though when you really look at how he did it, he just kind of moved Harrison Ford's head to the left, making it look like he broke his own neck and then also stretched it out and then just snapped it back into place. It was easily... And then the scene with Jabba the Hutt, in which he just edited scenes of Han Solo walking around the Millennium Falcon, took all of the dialogue bits from his conversation with Greedo and just pasted them into the scene and Jabba the Hutt. Oh my god.
Like, here's the thing with the special edition changes for me. Like, I don't mind the idea of him doing them, but at least let us still see the originals. But even then, most of the special edition changes in A New Hope are, for me at least, minor annoyances. Like when they're going through what was it called, Mos Eisley.
Oh yeah, and all that shit on the screen, bro.
Again, for me, that's a minor annoyance. Like when there's that one big animal going in front of the camera. Like what?
Yeah, dude, it was like that scene in Monsters Inc. where they're like crossing the street or whatever, and then you just see like a giant fucking dinosaur leg or something, and it just makes like a chicken sound. It's that ridiculous. And then there's a few other ones, and I agree with you. They are minor annoyances, but my big issue is that, like, in all of these re-releases, that's the only way to watch them.
Yeah,
there's no special feature that includes a theatrical cut of the movie. But you have like the stormtroopers when they're looking for the droids, they're riding on these real big fake CGI horse lizard things. And then the scene where Han Solo is running after the stormtroopers, and then he turns around because there were a lot more of them. So in the original cut of Episode 4, he follows those two stormtroopers, gets to that room, and there are like 4 or 5 of them in there, with including the 2 that he was chasing. And then he turns around and runs because they all start blasting him, which makes sense. That's like, a squad. That was probably the other guards that they were there doing their patrols with. In the special edition, he just added like 50 or 60, I don't even know, CGI stormtroopers in this room, and it really doesn't add anything to the scene. But for me, it was just not necessary.
Like, for me, there are some special edition changes I like. Actually, I thought the extra stormtroopers was actually kind of made the scene even funnier, because like he runs into the room and there's like fucking 50 stormtroopers. Like, I actually kind of thought that was kind of funny. Like I didn't mind that change. And again, for me, most of them are just minor annoyances. Like again, the CGI, like Mos Eisley, even the Greedo shooting first thing, again, I thought was weird, and the effect of Harrison's face was very bizarre. But for me, even that wasn't the worst, because like it took up less than a second of screen time. But
okay, but my issue is, if you really think about it, it doesn't make sense. So
I mean, yeah, it doesn't make sense. But again,
we have we have like when Luke and Ben Kenobi first walk into the fucking cantina. Luke gets a drink or whatever, and Obi-Wan stands next to him, and then these two guys start bothering Luke, and then he's like, "We're wanted men in over 42 systems," and then like the other dude's like, "My friend doesn't like you." And Obi-Wan's like, he's not worth the trouble. And then they're just, they're drunk, they're causing trouble, they're not really doing anything to anyone. And then he just cuts one of their arms off and slashes the other guy across the chest. Like, without, they didn't draw a weapon or anything. They just kind of shoved Luke, and so he killed them both, pretty much. And I would, like, the guy that got his arm cut off could have survived, but the guy that got, like, slashed by a laser sword, I'm pretty sure he was dead.
What was that?
So if... That was in episode 4. That was like right
no,
before
yeah,
Han
I know
Solo.
that. But I mean, like, was that a special edition change?
No, that was the original scene. And that's never ever been changed or altered in any way, shape, or form. So what I'm getting at is that if you can have a Jedi do something like that to two unarmed drunken slobs, why is it such a problem that Han Solo shoots the guy that had a gun on him first? It's not something he wouldn't do. He's a space pirate, for Christ's sake. He's a smuggler. He doesn't care. He just wants to, make a living doing smuggling and stuff. He doesn't want to get geeked by some Rhodian named Greedo. He doesn't want to die to him, so of course he's going to shoot him first.
Again, for me, like, again, I agree. It's a dumb scene, but for me, it's just, it takes up less than a second of screen time. So for me, it's just a minor annoyance. Like, ah. But for me, the one that was even worse for me was Jabba. Because, like, that took up, like, 1 or 2 minutes of screen time. Not only did it take 1 or 2 minutes of screen time...
It just did stuff that we already heard and
yeah,
knew.
it was it was completely redundant, and the CGI itself for Jabba was so bad.
Disgusting. Okay, so have you ever seen... Hang on, sorry.
That's fine.
I had to cough.
That's fine.
Have you ever seen I'm pretty sure it was a 1998 version... It was on VHS.
God. Oh, no, the 1995.
95, right.
Or was
Have
it
you
90?
seen that version?
Oh.
That version of Jabba?
Oh, that was the first
seen
one
it?
I saw.
It was disgusting. I was like, dude, what is that?
At least the one in
what
the,
is that?
The one that's currently on the Blu-ray is not as bad.
Yeah.
But oh my.
But it's still pretty bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But oh my god, the one from the 1995 or 97 re-release, like that special edition, that was embarrassing.
That was just horrendous. It looked worse
God.
than like a PlayStation 1 video game.
I mean, well, it looked. I don't know if I go that far. It probably looked about as good as a PlayStation 3 video game because, like, regardless, it was just a really horrible effect. And I'm like, oh,
I don't know. I mean, you have to remember, Uncharted came out on the PlayStation 3, and that looks pretty good. It looks almost like a movie. I'd say PlayStation 2 is about as far as I'd take it, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm gathering is that that CGI Jabba was. As I'm saying, that scene for me was even worse than like the Greedo shooting first thing because it took up way more screen time than it needed to. The CGI was awful, and
it made the movie ugly, and it just wasted your time, dude.
But even then, there was lots of, but even with the special edition changes, even with the special edition changes, surprisingly, it still didn't detract from me too much from Star Wars: A New Hope watching it on the official Blu-ray. Again, I do want to watch the despecialized editions, but the reason why I'm reviewing the one from the Blu-ray is because, well, this is the current version that is supposed to be canon, like George Lucas. Like everyone was wondering why hasn't Disney released the originals yet. I'm willing to bet George Lucas put in that contract when he sold Lucasfilm off to Disney that they do not show the originals as they were, which I feel like it's a shame because I don't mind him doing the special edition changes, but let us see the originals. I mean,
my issue with all of this lies in some of the stuff that happened in 4, mainly 5, and also 6. So 4 for the most part was George Lucas and the director. The problem that you run into when you change a bunch of stuff and replace things is that now that you're probably right. I feel like he probably did put some clause in the contract when he was selling Star Wars to Disney saying you cannot show the theatrical releases of Star Wars: A New Hope Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. And my problem is that, for example, in Episode 5, the voice work for Boba Fett and also the Emperor in the original theatrical release, the Emperor was played by somebody, or I think he was still played by oh god, what's his name?
I don't know if it was Ian McDiarmid. I think it was another
It,
actor. I don't know.
yeah, it was another actor. I'm fairly sure. But the Boba Fett was also very obviously another actor. They went back into when they released these in the special editions. They replaced the Emperor with Ian, and then they replaced Boba Fett's voice actor with that Australian dude that they had in the Clone Wars that voiced Jango Fett.
I actually,
And
oh,
now hang on. That's not the problem. The problem is that the acting credits for the two original actors were taken out of the credits. So those credits are gone pretty much forever unless you can get a copy of the theatrical release with the original credits, because I don't know why, but it doesn't make sense to me. Same thing with Return of the Jedi. When they replace Anakin or Darth Vader's ghost with
from David Prowse to Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen, which I look, yeah, if you want to make it make sense with the prequels, fine, go ahead. It makes some sense, but the prequels are also shit. So just leave the movies alone.
I honestly didn't. Oh, what?
They took away the acting credit from the guy that
Well,
originally played or the ghost, the guy that
well,
originally was the ghost of Vader.
oh, David. Well, actually, I don't know if that was David Prowse. I think that was another actor, but I don't know. But like, I don't. Again, like I said, I feel like there are some special edition changes that I don't think were that bad. Like, I honestly don't mind them changing the voice of Boba Fett because again, it makes it a little bit more consistent. Ian McDiarmid makes it a little bit more consistent. Hayden Christensen, I feel it. Well, I don't know. I feel like they probably could have put the original actor in there because I mean, if they put Hayden Christensen in there, then why didn't they have Ewan McGregor? So like, I mean, well, and with Yoda, well, he looks about the same as he does all the time. But like, for me, like I said, I don't even mind the idea of George Lucas trying to go back and do his change his films because like, hey, I'd be interested to see how a director can change over the past few decades.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. George Lucas did not direct Star Wars Episode 5 or Episode 6.
Well, yeah,
Episode 5 was directed by the visionary legend that is Irvin Kershner, which is why it was so good, because he finally had someone telling George, like, hey, I mean, we could do that, but that's not really feasible or really makes sense. And he had a clear vision and a lot of knowledge with things like effects and camera work. Episode 5 is easily the best looking of the original three Star Wars movies. For me, it really established the aesthetic of not only the Empire, but pretty much every character in those three Star Wars movies. But then he goes back and messes with something that was, yes, partially his vision, but mostly done by Irvin Kershner. A lot of the work was originally done by him. I don't know how much, like, sure, he has full right to go and do it. It makes me feel that it's not really that right because, like, did he consult Irving Kershner to make a lot of these changes? Probably not.
I mean, I don't know. Wait, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, uh, but but like, because in all honesty, I don't think George Lucas is that great of a filmmaker. Because like, even with A New Hope, like, there's a lot like a lot of people will tell you that. I mean, yeah, I know it's blasphemy to say it, but like, I mean, like, there's a lot of articles that go around, showing that George Lucas had a lot of help with making A New Hope. Like, I think even Carrie Fisher like edited a lot of the script to make it feel a lot more natural, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, actually, that's actually really true. There's a fun story. When the actors did a lot of the scenes, the biggest complaint was that it felt really choppy and sort of out of sequence. So yes, not only did Carrie Fisher help with editing and making it feel a lot more natural, but like you could tell that the original draft of Episode 4, A New Hope, probably wasn't going to be like as big as a theatrical success as what they actually came out with.
Yeah, and that's another really funny thing. And that's probably one of the funniest little bits of irony in the entire history of Hollywood. Like, 20th Century Fox just gave all the rights to George Lucas, thinking that this was going to be a massive flop, and yet it became the biggest film franchise in the history of cinema. Like
Right.
that I just find that to be really hilarious. But even then, regardless of, even with all the special edition changes and there a little bit of hokiness, I still really enjoy. I For some reason I've enjoyed a New Hope more now than I have in the past. Like I still don't think this is. I don't know. I don't think this is. I don't think this is around one of my favorite Star Wars films. But this is definitely a really solid one in my opinion. Some of the effects do hold up, especially again, like another example of special edition changes that I don't mind is like whenever they use ships in space. Like sometimes they use, like for example, when there's X-wings or TIE fighters, they replace those with CGI, and honestly it actually looks really good. I couldn't even notice it. But Star Wars: New Hope, I feel like does hold up really well. Even when looking past of the special edition changes, I do wish that one day we can have the official the original versions of the original Star Wars trilogy. But seeing as how the current Blu-ray special editions are, these are the ones that are canon. But even then, I really enjoyed Star Wars: A New Hope, and it set a path to one of, probably even definitely the most successful and influential film franchise of all time that is still going really strong today. What do you think?
Yep. I definitely agree. It was way ahead of its time, and the people that made it come together really made what I would not hesitate to call a masterpiece. It's incredible as a movie. Everything goes well together. The characters have good on-screen chemistry. It's a really awesome story, and it's one of the few movies that I wish that I could experience for the first time all over again.
Yeah, the first time I experienced it was the 1997 VHS thing of it, and but yeah, I do really enjoy this movie. So yeah, that about wraps it up for this installment of the Hannahcast. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to this, and special thanks to my buddy Raphael for joining me in this, and hopefully we can maybe make this a weekly thing between us. What do you think?
Yeah, no, sure, I'm down.
Yeah. So
It was good to be here.
yeah, it's really fun talking to you, man. Like, cause I always love having somebody to bounce off of, and you're probably one of the few movie buddies I have that I can have these fun conversations with, and like really, dude, you're great.
Yeah, no, dude, you too. This was fun.
This is really fun. So yeah, guys, this has been the third installment of the Hannahcast. If you haven't already watched the previous episodes, go ahead and do that. If you want to support me directly, I do have a Patreon page. It's in the description below. And so yeah, everybody, bye. And
See ya.
yeah.